Greetings, Indie Warriors, and welcome to yet another edition of The Dream Drop. Old Gamer Joe here, bringing you over 30 exciting new indie and AA releases, this time for the week of May 11th through the 17th of 2026. Let's get right into it, and please note this list does not include early access games. Well, okay, we broke the rule just once, but mostly it does not include early access games. Here we go. Colorful, cozy co-op base building on wheels is the name of the game in this week's Outbound, the perfect, wholesome four-player game for you and your pals. A game all about sustainability, clean energy, and crafting a gorgeous base atop a vintage camper. You'll explore this bright and colorful world, crafting and harvesting. While you can play with your real friends, if you fancy exploring this utopian future alone, you'll be accompanied by an adorable dog to spend your time with. Outbound launches onto PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch this week. A slightly less utopian future marks the backdrop of Battlestar Galactica: Scattered Hopes, a roguelike RTS that puts you in the shoes of a Battlestar fleet captain. As you make your way towards the Galactica, you'll gain civilian vessels, deal with fighting factions, engage in space battles, and go on the hunt in disguise amongst your crew. You might not need to be a fan of the series to play, but it certainly will help with this strategic space adventure launching on PC. Next up, a rescue mission through a martial world when RPG Psychic Kung Fu Master launches onto PC on May 14th. Through turn-based combat, you'll fight gangs, recruit disciples, cultivate your skill, and become the most powerful leader in the world. Wander, fight, learn, and lead when this one drops this week. Making a steampunk city on wheels is the name of the game in this next one. Well, actually, the name of the game is Steel Artery, Train City Builder. I don't mean to lie. You'll build a city on the rails, managing the economy, balancing the needs of your citizens, and creating a completely self-sufficient roving city. Your citizens have needs and wants of their own and will rebel if you don't meet their requirements. So you better get really good at riding the rails when Steel Artery launches on the 15th, PC exclusive. Leaving early access with some pretty great reviews under its belt is RTS Adventure Gold Adventure Gold, which, though it may sound like I just have a stammer, is in fact the name of the game. You'll fight for gold, using every coin you get to build a fantasy town, while you recruit heroes and raise a god beast. Sounds just like real life, kind of. Every coin you invest expands your influence and brings adventurers from far and wide that you can send on quests of their own to help you make even more money. Play exclusively on PC now, or wait until it leaves early access on the 15th. And we're going to have a live stream of this one right here at I Dream of Indie Games around the 19th, so be sure to tune in for that with Scrambled Ashton. We're kicking it like it's 1990 next with our Jenko jeans, our Walkman, and our third-person survival horror games. Vultures, Scavengers of Death is a brand new turn-based survival horror that is heavily inspired by the horror classics we know and love. Set in a city after it was hit by a biohazard incident, you'll play as a vulture operative, either Leopold or Amber, sent in to find a cure. Gee, I sure hope none of these residents are evil. Vultures launches on PC on the 13th. Most of the time, our games have us using any old sword we stumble upon, but in Blades of Fire, forging weapons is just as important as swinging them. Playing as the last warrior who can forge true steel, you'll choose the material, shape, and balance of your weapons, and then use those swords to fight bosses in methodical and lethal battles. With some pretty solid reviews for its previous versions, Blades of Fire 2.0 will hopefully live up to the hype when it launches onto PC this week. Counting cards may be illegal, but what do we do about building our own playing deck? I don't think it would fly in Vegas, but apparently it's fair game in hell, and they're not that far apart, so who knows? Blackjacket is a roguelite deck builder that tasks you with gambling your way out of hell, adding new cards, curses, and artifacts to help you battle against the demons that stand in your path. Gamble it all when Blackjacket launches on the 12th. Next, it's time for a sequel. This is Call of the Elder Gods, also launching on the 12th, a sequel to Call of the Sea, a game that I actually did play right here on the channel and I greatly enjoyed. The story centers around Professor Harry Everard and his student partner who are haunted by visions of the past and maybe the future as well. They're all dreamy and weird-like. You'll have to observe each puzzle in this game very carefully, using different problem-solving skills, ones that you probably haven't relied on in quite some time. You'll go from New England to the Australian outback and beyond with a fully voiced cast that features the talents of Yori Loethal and Sissy Jones, who return from Call of the Sea. Lovecraft fans will definitely want to check this one out if they can handle some of those darker themes, which I guess if you're a fan of Lovecraft, you can handle them. Duh. Whoa, holy boobs! Next we have Island Petrichor. I think that's how you say that. A 3D exploration game where you will control an adorable white cat who is helping a college student who goes by the name of Makoto investigate a strange island that is, well, populated by cats entirely. Yes, indeed, it takes place on, quote, Cat Island and features a lighthouse to explore, shrines across 18 different maps. The gameplay is based around cat-specific actions. You'll climb, you'll crawl through tight spaces, you'll need to go across roofs, and you'll even solve a few environmental puzzles. This island features real-time dynamic weather effects, there's a festival taking place, and more in this very strange-looking indie release that will be dropping this week. It does look pretty cute, you gotta admit. Serious drivers only now. It's time to go back to driving school in Virtual Driving School launching this week, which is built around 1 to 3 minute micro lessons where you'll learn how to run the clutch. You'll get control of these vehicles. You'll go through roundabouts. I'm scared. My daughter's going to be driving in the not too distant future, and I'm probably going to be one of the people that teaches her. Take part in different exams, avoid hazards, and use global presets. That's right, there are different rules depending where you live in this world. Didn't you know that? So you gotta drive according to the law. The game supports right and left-handed driving and has full steering wheel support for those few of you out there that actually own a racing wheel. I kind of miss having one of those, even though I know I would never use it. Oh, and it does support VR as well, apparently. Very cool. Were you a fan of a game known as Dark Messiah? Well, if you were, the developers of Sir Kicksalot want you to know it because their game is heavily influenced by that one. Featuring multiple combat styles, you'll have a selection of melee weapons, ranged weapons, magic that you can use, but above all else, you gotta use that environment to kill them in style. You can grab the Adventures of Sir Kicksalot on the 15th. Run and gun mixed with Metroidvania? Yes, you do have my attention. This is Clockwork Ambrosia, which is also launching onto Steam this week, a 2D steampunk action platformer with that Metroidvania structure mixed with run and gun combat. You'll be playing as Iris, the airship pilot, who battles against a variety of different robots and monsters using 100 different weapon mods. That's a lot of mods, but her 4 main weapons include the pulse breaker, the missile launcher, the revolver, and the grenade launcher. Use them in a variety of ways to mow down enemies as you explore a massive 15 to 20 hour campaign that hosts secrets, non-playable characters to interact with, and more. Whoa, more boobs! Holy monkey, here we go with SiNiSistar 2, a dark action RPG that's set to launch this week, featuring some really grotesque-looking pixel art. I kinda dig it. You will be controlling Sister Layla, a magic-wielding nun. She inhabits a collapsing world that you must try to save, like in so many other video games. Combat is a mix of melee and magic as you learn different enemy patterns and take them down accordingly. There's going to be 6 dungeons total in the game that range from swamps to abandoned villages, and plenty of unique bosses to tackle as well. Yes, there's a full leveling system as well for you RPG fans out there, and 3D backgrounds to accompany that lovely pixel art. Oh, and there's a replay mode too, which allows you to take down those bosses a second time if you didn't get enough of them the first time. And if you're worried about it being too tough, don't worry, there's difficulty options available. Point and click fans, it looks like this next release is coming to PC and all major consoles too. It's Whirlight, No Time to Trip, a point-and-click graphic adventure game that takes place in the town of Varese Bay. You'll be controlling the inventor Hector, who comes across a new idea one day, but there's a co-protagonist here as well named Margaret, and the two kind of bounce off of one another. This genre is known for its humor, of course, and fantasy elements from time to time, and it seems like you'll get no shortage of those here, with the developers citing inspirations such as Day of the Tentacle, a classic, and Sam and Max. The art looks really great, I'm into the characters, and I want to play this video game because I love me a 90s inspired point and click. Now I know what you're thinking, another World War I game, but this one's a little bit different as it places an emphasis on survival, not so much the combat. Taking place in 1915, you will control Fisher, a young gentleman from Newfoundland who joins the British war efforts. The story will bounce between 3 different soldiers and mixes trench exploration with various missions and some dog tag recovery as well. But on top of that, you'll experience some of the other sides of war, like the downtime, enjoying some stew with friends, sharing stories, all that kind of stuff. all backed by an amazing original soundtrack. You can take part in the Horrors of War on the 14th. Next, we have a really old game making a comeback. It's Wall Street Raider. Now, I can't pretend to know the first thing about Wall Street stocks or any of that stuff, but this game has quite the history going back to 1986 and now being rebuilt for modern players. You'll be in charge of corporations, crypto, bonds, banks, real estate, and so much more. There's stocks to be traded, there's Bitcoin, and all this crap I really don't care about. So, if you're into this kind of thing, look no further. Grab it this week. It's time to road out with your chode out. Ugh, that didn't sound good at all, did it? RoadOut is the next game on our list, a post-apocalyptic action RPG that combines twin-stick combat with dungeon exploration and a little bit of old-school top-down racing, where you control the mercenary Claire across the Dead Zone. She takes on delivery, she takes on murder contracts, she does it all! Explore various biomes by car, or join up with factions and take part in a variety of different quests in this violent shooter that looks like a real cool combination of different genres. There's 10 racing tracks in total, and it's inspired by games such as Zelda, GTA, and the classic rock and roll racing. Maybe a few of you out there went to Catholic school with a Sister Ray, but this Sister Ray, well, I don't think she was a Catholic, to be honest. This is a 2D RPG survival game that follows the life of Ray, an artist that is battling addiction while also trying to take care of her sister. The gameplay revolves around trying to hide your addiction because you don't want anyone to find out just what a train wreck you are. But through it all, as you try to overcome those demons, you'll draw and you'll try to do whatever it takes as an artist to get by. Different actions advance the time of day, and there's a huge city to explore, which features a school, a bar, a police station, and more. Grab some part-time jobs, maybe even do a little bit of theft if it comes down to it, whatever it takes to get by. You can die from illness in this game, violence, or there's lots of wrong choices that you can make in this very interesting looking indie release. Things only get gloomier now, unfortunately, with the release of MAZEBOUND Hunt, Gather, Run, a first-person survival horror that takes place on a really wretched-looking island. You'll do the usual survival thingies, trying to hunt, to gather resources, craft items, and you can do this with a friend if you so wish in co-op. This maze is alive. There's various different paths to take, walls will close in on you, and there's lots of creepy crawlies around the island too that are trying to kill you. Naturally, there's no guides in this game, there's no safe areas at all, and monsters can also pick up on your microphone sound. Creepy. Look out for this one on the 13th, if you dare. If this all hasn't been twisted enough for you, then maybe check out Deliria, which is also launching this week, which takes place within a 3D sandbox that is made of cubes, quite literally. Looks pretty grotesque too, with a variety of endless biomes, 8 different bosses to take on, and lots of enemies. You'll chain together combos, you'll have to build a city up as well, and different arenas while you command NPCs to do your bidding. The game supports solo play, PvP, co-op, and even a full-on creative mode, with 500 different items and 20 pieces of orchestral music for you to enjoy. This sandbox game looks like it could be an addicting experience coming from Line's Way on the 15th. Let's get a little witchy with it now. What do you say? Greenhearth Necromancer is the next indie game we are featuring here on the Dream Drop. A little witchy, semi-idle life simulation game where you are taking care of a balcony garden that is full of dead and living plants. Controlling a young necromancer that has inherited their grandmother's garden, you now are in charge of growing the plants, casting different spells, brewing up magical potions, dropping down that fertilizer, and so much more. Get these dead plants back to life and watch them grow and prosper in this adorable little cozy game. In recent times, we've had some wonderful animal detective games, like the Duck Detective series. Those games are a blast if you haven't checked them out. Well, you might want to check this one out too. It's Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery, which is a detective puzzler with a adorable noir style. You are a tabby cat detective with the full suit and everything to go along with it. A gemstone goes missing and you must crack the case by using a conspiracy board to put everything together. Examine that evidence carefully and fill in the blanks in this adorable looking release. Coming to us on the 12th from Mistive Dev, we have Saint of Chains, going back into the horror now from the first person perspective. This one is inspired by games such as Silent Hill 3 and the Condemned franchise, where you control a dad that is trapped within nightmares. Sounds like my life, kind of. Your environments will shift around you as you battle back different foes using a variety of weapons including pipes, bats, knives, and more. You'll have limited inventory in traditional survival horror fashion, and there's a lot of puzzles to solve as well, with visuals straight out of the PS2 early Xbox 360 era. This game looks really pretty. I actually saw a glimpse of this at PAX East this year, if I remember right. It's ARIE, Moonprayer, a gorgeous 3D anime explorative experience about the last days on Earth. It takes place on Cerule Island, and there's just a few people remaining as the tide swallows everything. You will play as Diallo, a moon bard who is to guide various spirits. The story looks really impactful to go along with that gorgeous art, and I hope it delivers on the 13th. In fact, you can find out before you even buy it, because there is a demo available for this one as well. Now, I know we don't review a lot of visual novels here on the channel, unfortunately, but doesn't mean we don't shout them out here on the Dream Drop, because this genre has its fans. Check out The Last Winter Night this week on the 11th from Endesis, a game that also has a demo available for you to check out, try before you buy. Great little gothic style to this one. You are playing as a ghost that has no memories of what has happened whatsoever. Exploring an abandoned castle, you'll unravel deeper, darker secrets while taking in some beautiful hand-drawn art and a lovely piano-based soundtrack. Something not quite as depressing now, this is Nook Fall, West Town, an isometric narrative visual novel that takes place in West Town, just as the title implies. You'll explore at your own pace in this game. You can ride the tram, you can wander different alleys, and you can even run a little shop in the corner where nobody can bother you at all. Well, maybe some of the customers will be annoying. I can't promise you that. But this game just seems really nice. Okay, we're getting creepy again, but it's lighthearted now, so don't worry. Well, kinda sorta lighthearted. This is Creepy Tale Snowchild, an action puzzle adventure game that has a variety of mystery elements to it, some platforming for players to take part in, a little bit of stealth, and plenty of dark black humor. You will be controlling the boy Blizzy, who sees a trip to hell as an opportunity to become a hero. Guided by an imp Molech, you'll solve a variety of different puzzles, take part in mini-games, and enjoy some lovely storybook-style animations and visuals. On top of those handcrafted characters that you'll be enjoying, there's a lovely haunting soundtrack, with the game featuring full-on voice acting too. Very nice fairy tale aesthetic. Back to the point-and-click games now, and this one is certainly a mouthful. Panthalassa is a point-and-click adventure game that takes place in an underwater alien world where you get to control Mag, a submarine that is, well, malfunctioning. This game will ask many questions. How the hell did you end up here being the most important one? Once again, inspired by those late 90s, early 2000s point-and-click adventure games, you'll have the usual inventory systems that you would expect, but there's an alien twist to this one. Were you like me and you grew up loving Saturday morning cartoons? Well, then you might appreciate the art style of Underling Uprising, also launching this week, a beat-em-up game for 1 to 4 players that also features a versus mode. From Rose to Boogie, these characters all have pizzazz and style to them. It's an open-ended combo system where it has different cancellations, and it's going to be a little bit deeper than you might expect for a brawler. There's temporary weapons, there's vehicles, and 7 stages in total, along with a full-on arcade mode for those of you that want to go for the high scores. Nice. Tossing it back to the tactical RPGs now, this is A Tale of Silent Depths, a turn-based tactical RPG in a post-apocalyptic, again, underwater world. I guess that's a theme this week. You control the Ark Captain in a procedurally generated ocean. Lots of resources to gather, blueprints, drones, so much more. It seems pretty damn deep. Get it? Ocean? Deep? Okay, if you're tired of the ocean, don't worry, I've got the cure for you. It's Alchemist, Journey of the Soul, a 1 to 4 player first-person alchemical adventure game where you are a homunculus that has been created by the Alchemist. You'll explore castles and forgotten hallways using logic and observation along with magical abilities, with the core gameplay loop involving getting different ingredients, unlocking new recipes, and brewing potions. For those of you that like creating different magical spells and solving puzzles, check this one out on the 14th. City building with a steampunk flair, here's Nova Patria arriving on the 14th. Featuring deep systems and a procedurally generated world, you'll play as a Roman colonial governor who's building a new exciting world through steam tech. Create roads, rails, and more as you manage different cities and the populations that reside within them. Strike the perfect balance or watch your city crumble this week. Tactical RPG fans, guess what's leaving early access? Nitro Gen Omega, baby, that's right, and it's coming to consoles too. This self-described spaghetti anime game features mechs, more mechs, and then, more mechs. Combat is very cinematic, turn-based in nature, with various phases to pay attention to. It's got substance, style, and lots of parts to collect as you build the ultimate mecha. The game received very positive reviews on Steam during early access, so I feel confident the full release will be excellent. And last but certainly not least, it's Subnautica 2, of course, heading into early access, and it just might break the internet on the 14th with how many loyal followers it has. I never played the original Subnautica myself, but I know that people are crazy about it. Featuring 4-player underwater co-op, Subnautica 2 will expand upon the original, taking place in a much larger alien world where you will craft tools for survival and build a base. Dangerous oceanic baddies await players, so best to stay away from this one if you don't like the water, which has definitely been a theme for this Dream Drop. And that's going to do it for this episode, folks. Oh, hey, if you made it this far, quick announcement. This is my last Dream Drop for a while. We have a new host coming your way next week. We've hired 2 new people here at I Dream of Indie Games so that we can continue to fuel this mission for indie visibility. It's been a privilege hosting the Dream Drop for many years now at this point. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be filling in here or there, but this show will now be Tricky Tom, so be sure to send him a very warm welcome when he debuts his Dream Drop next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you for all that you do for independent content. Like, subscribe, and do all those great things. And I look forward to seeing you back here at I Dream of Indie Games.